Patrick Star calmly looks at SpongeBob, smiles, and says, "Good night, SpongeBob." Then he flips his entire house over both of them like it's a blanket.
Good night, SpongeBob.
Not a door, not furniture, a solid rock, no grunting, no hesitation, just a quiet snore seconds later. It's one of those moments that slips by as a joke until you stop and really think about it. How strong would someone have to be to lift a geological formation with that much control? And Patrick isn't alone. Sandy Cheeks casually throws anchors farther than most machines could manage. Larry the Lobster treats ship anchors like dumbbells. Mrs. Puff inflates, lifts an entire car, and floats into the sky screaming, "Oh, SpongeBob, why?"
Oh, SpongeBob, why?
And SpongeBob himself, usually weak, suddenly hoists Mr. Krabs over his head in a panic-fueled rage. So what's actually going on here? Is strength in Bikini Bottom random cartoon nonsense? Or is there a hidden pattern deciding who's truly powerful? SpongeBob SquarePants has always exaggerated reality, but physical strength in the show isn't as chaotic as it first appears. When you look closely, certain characters demonstrate consistent, repeatable feats, while others only seem strong when the joke demands it. In this video, we're breaking down how strong SpongeBob characters really are. By analyzing on-screen, we'll compare lifting feats, grip strength, durability, and consistency, separating gag-based power from genuine overperformance. By the end, we'll answer the real question: who in Bikini Bottom is secretly overpowered, and who just looks strong when the punchline needs it? Sandy Cheeks. Sandy Cheeks is usually the first name that comes up in any strength debate, and for good reason. Her power is deliberate, trained, and consistent. In Muscle Bob Buff Pants, Sandy steps up to a strength contest and casually launches a massive anchor across Bikini Bottom. As the crowd watches in disbelief, the distance is called out, 510 yards. Sandy doesn't celebrate wildly. She just smirks and says, "Beat that, SpongeBob."
Beat that, SpongeBob.
This isn't a one-off gag. In SpongeBob, Sandy, and the Worm, Sandy physically wrestles an Alaskan bullworm, grabbing, flipping, and restraining a creature that dwarfs vehicles and buildings. When it's over, she brushes it off with classic confidence. "But I'm from Texas, and as you can see, no worm is a match for me."
But I'm from Texas, and as you can see, no worm is a match for me.
Sandy's strength is rooted in conditioning and combat skill. She lifts heavy objects, controls massive opponents, and performs under pressure without emotional triggers. Unlike other characters, her feats are repeatable and intentional. If strength were measured by reliability alone, Sandy would be the safest bet in Bikini Bottom. Patrick Star. Patrick Star doesn't train. He doesn't flex. He doesn't even acknowledge his own power. And that's exactly what makes him terrifying. In Home Sweet Pineapple, SpongeBob loses his house and ends up sleeping under Patrick's rock. As they settle in, Patrick calmly says, "Good night, SpongeBob," then lifts his entire rock house and places it over both of them like a blanket. No strain, no follow-up joke. He then immediately starts snoring. The key detail isn't just that Patrick lifts the rock, it's how he lifts it. The motion is smooth, controlled, and casual, suggesting complete dominance over an object that likely outweighs anything else we see lifted in the series. This isn't adrenaline, it's not emotional. Patrick doesn't even register that what he's doing is impressive. Elsewhere, Patrick has pushed massive structures, carried SpongeBob across long distances, and even helped move Bikini Bottom itself without visible effort. His strength isn't situational, it's dormant. Patrick may not use his power often, but when he does, it looks limitless. Larry the Lobster. Larry the Lobster is the most visually obvious strong guy in Bikini Bottom. He works out, he shows off, and he wants you to notice. In Ripped Pants, Larry turns Goo Lagoon into an outdoor gym. He curls ship anchors like dumbbells and invites Sandy to try. When she struggles, Larry ups the ante, stacking more weight and declaring, "Observe." The crowd cheers as he lifts a heavily loaded barbell with ease, basking in the attention. Larry's strength is real, but it's narrow. He excels in controlled lifting environments, bars, weights, repetitive motion. He doesn't display the same raw object manipulation as Sandy or Patrick, nor does he lift irregular, awkward masses outside the gym setting. This makes Larry's power impressive but specialized. He's strong in the way a bodybuilder is strong, visible, practiced, and optimized for performance rather than utility. He looks like the strongest guy in the room, but when the environment changes, others quietly outperform him. Mr. Krabs. Mr. Krabs isn't built like a powerhouse, but his strength shows up in very specific ways, especially grip and endurance. In Larry's gym, Mr. Krabs gleefully approaches a heavy weight machine, saying, "Oh boy, I can't believe I'm allowed to lift this pretty heavy weight for free."
I can't believe I'm allowed to lift these really heavy pieces of metal for free!
He lifts it successfully until it drops and cracks his shell. The moment is played for laughs, but it confirms something important. Krabs can lift serious weight, even if his body isn't optimized for it. Across the series, Mr. Krabs repeatedly demonstrates crushing grip strength, snapping objects, clamping down on items, and physically overpowering others in short bursts. As a former Navy man, his strength feels old school, less flashy, more functional. Krabs' weakness isn't power, it's durability. His shell breaks, his body gives out, and he lacks consistency. He can lift heavy things, but he pays for it. His strength is real, but it comes with limits. Mrs. Puff. Mrs. Puff is one of the most underestimated characters on the show, largely because her strength only appears when everything has already gone wrong. In boating school, SpongeBob crashes during an exam, and Mrs. Puff inflates in panic. As she rises into the air, she lifts an entire car with her inflated body, screaming, "Oh, SpongeBob, why?"
Oh, SpongeBob! Why?
The car floats effortlessly beneath her as chaos unfolds. This happens repeatedly across the series. When stressed or endangered, Mrs. Puff gains sudden lifting power far beyond her normal state. It's not controlled or intentional, it's a biological emergency response. Her strength is situational and unstable, but undeniably real. She doesn't train it, and she can't access it at will. Still, lifting a car repeatedly places her far above average Bikini Bottom residents. SpongeBob SquarePants. SpongeBob is the most confusing case. Early on, he struggles to lift stuffed animals. Later, he throws a killer whale. Then he can't lift a glass of water. In Crabborg, SpongeBob panics after believing Mr. Krabs is a robot. Fueled by fear, he lifts Mr. Krabs over his head and repeatedly slams him into the ground. When Squidward protests, SpongeBob snaps, "That's not Mr. Krabs, that's Robot Krabs." SpongeBob's strength fluctuates wildly, likely tied to emotional spikes and regeneration cycles. His body reforms constantly, possibly resetting his physical limits each time. When emotions override his sensitivity to pain, his strength skyrockets. He isn't reliably strong, but when triggered, SpongeBob becomes dangerously powerful. Strength in SpongeBob SquarePants works because it follows a strange but consistent internal logic. Power is not evenly distributed, and it's not random. Characters draw strength from different sources: training, biology, emotion, or indifference. Sandy's strength is disciplined and repeatable. Larry's is optimized and performative. Mr. Krabs' power is functional but limited by durability. Mrs. Puff's strength is a panic response. SpongeBob's is emotional and unstable. And Patrick? Patrick's strength exists without effort or awareness. The show never tries to balance these systems. It lets them coexist. That's why lifting feats feel believable inside Bikini Bottom, even when they're absurd. What makes SpongeBob's strength feats memorable isn't realism, it's contrast. A squirrel trains like an athlete, a lobster shows off, a crab breaks under his own ambition, a pufferfish floats cars while screaming. A sponge oscillates between helpless and unstoppable, and a starfish lifts a house like a blanket and goes to sleep. So, who's the strongest? If strength is consistency, Sandy wins. If it's raw lifting power, Patrick takes it effortlessly. In Bikini Bottom, strength isn't about muscles. It's about who the universe quietly bends around when no one's paying attention.